finally the day I have decided to do an official video of my homemade DIY sawmill. I've actually been running this for a little while, pretty successfully too. You know, it's been working out good. It's been working out all right, knock on wood. There's been a lot of trial and error. As you can see, this is, let me see exactly how wide it is. A little over 6 feet. So originally it wasn't this wide. I made it wider for this new carbide blade. Basically, long story short, I got a deal on it. But this was originally about 14 inches smaller, and I had a 133 inch blade on here, so I had to make everything wider because I got a couple of these for a really good deal. This is a 6.5 Predator engine off, from Harbor Freight, kind of like that. This is off a pressure washer I got for free on the side of the road. And these are 20-inch BMX bike tires here, which have been working really well actually, and the bearings haven't went out on them yet, which, I kind of assumed that it would be too much for these tires, but so far so good. And I've milled up quite a bit. You can see some of my slabs there. I don't know if you can see them in the shot. It's on these tracks here, and this is just U channel, I think it's called, or C channel, and I got it for free from my buddy. He gave me a bunch of it, so I'm like, oh, that'll work perfect for this. And then I had some old roller blades, and the wheels have bearings in them, and they fit in this U or C channel perfectly, so I decided to use them. I welded all this up. This is how I raise and lower it. So basically this nut is welded in. I drilled a hole through here. This is, square stock going over round stock. As you can see, I got my scale on there too. But I basically welded a lever handle to this bolt here, and when I loosen it, I can slide this up and down, to exactly where I want it. Right now it's at 27. And so the next cut, if I want 1.5 inches, I'll drop it on both sides, one side at a time, down to 26, or no, actually I'm going up, so 28.5. That's what I'll do. And then I'll come over here and I'll drop it on this side too to 28.5. I gotta weld some more guards on here, some more sheet metal. I did a real half-assed job of that. I kind of rushed it because I doubted it would work out, and it actually is working out very good. Here's my drive system, which it's like the most clever thing I've ever thought of. So this is it's like a clutch. At first I tried to use a centrifugal clutch from like a go-kart. It's all one unit. It's got a little sprocket on there. When you rev up the engine, it engages. Well, I did not like that because it was smoking. It wasn't doing too well. It was engaging at really high RPMs, so you didn't have a gradual increase of speed. It was balls to the wall all at once, and that scared the shit out of me, especially when you build something yourself. You want to go slow at first. This down here is an 8-inch pulley. So you want, in my case anyway, this one's 4-inch. In my case, I wanted a bigger pulley down here because my speed, I still think my speed overall is a little too fast, but it's all right. Yeah, and like I was saying, back to this, I got distracted. This is just like a lawnmower, a riding lawnmower. If you have ever seen how you engage the PTO on some of those, where it's just a belt tensioner. So what I do is pull this lever, and I made this little thing out of a bed frame, and it catches it, and then boom, I'm in drive, and that's been working really good. My belt's about to quit on me, but that's a really cheap belt, like a $8 belt off Amazon, 50 inches. But yeah, and then when I want to disengage it, I I just push it back like that. I needed this other pulley here. This is very important because it pushes on this just enough to disengage it when my engine's idling, and so I can start my engine. If I didn't have this pulley here, basically this would be engaged even if it was loose. It would still grab it and you know, engage the whole blade and make the blade spin when I didn't want it to. The engine's a mess. This is a 6.5 horsepower. It's seen better days, but you know, it's what I got for the time being. I think I have a Honda 10 horse or Kawasaki 16 horse I might put on this eventually. I don't know if it's going to be too heavy. Now, nobody ever talks about their blade, man, and that's so annoying. Like, I'm like, what blade do I get? So far, this is the best one. And this is a carbide. This was almost $200. It's carbide teeth. There's wood on it right now, but you can't really see it. This is an inch and an eighth, inch and a quarter. Let me measure it. And it's 2 TPI. So 2 teeth per inch. That's basically what that means. Oh, it's actually inch and a half. Damn near inch and 3/8 to be exact. I like this size a lot. So what I figured out is the wider your blade, basically the more control you're going to have, the less it's apt to wander or move up and down as you're cutting. You know, your blade tension and your blade guides are going to take care of that too, but you have a better chance in France if your blade's a little wider. You know, I was going to try the 3/4 inch wide ones, but I decided against it because I could just see those, you know, having more of a chance to wander up and down and give me wavy cuts, which is the biggest thing, you know, I've battled having this. When I first built it, I had this super cheap carbon steel blade on there, and it was awful. I had to sharpen it after I cut 1 or 2 boards just constantly, and it would go dull really quick, and then my cuts would start getting wavy really fast. So if your cuts are good at first and then they start getting wavy, you know, if you build one of these or you have one of these, it's probably because your blade's getting dull. Even though it still feels sharp, you know, to the touch, it's you know, they dull out just a little bit and things start going to shit really quick. Here's my blade guides. These have by far been the most difficult thing. I've went through 3 different designs on these. These are idler pulleys or timing belt pulleys from a Subaru, and I had one, and I'm like, oh my god, these would work perfect. And this is exactly what I was looking for, like a big roller with 1 lip on it. And it turns out I had one all along. I just didn't notice it until recently. But yeah, here's some of my first preliminary designs that have failed, or you know, we're in the process of failing. So I lined up a roller here and here. This one shot a lot of sparks. This one actually worked for a little while. These are skateboard bearings and they just weren't big enough, but it's still actually working. The steel finally blew out, so I'm sure that would have died. And I don't even know where that one went. I think it fell off probably while I was milling. This here, this is a block of locust. It's just wood. You know, you could use any kind of wood. If you're not sure what you want to do for a blade guide, this is super simple and reliable. I just took my circular saw and I notched a block of wood down the middle, just enough, you know. I think my blade wasn't as wide as this before this, but yeah. The only problem, like, and then I soaked it in oil for a couple days before I mounted it up to one of these, and it worked pretty well, but you know, there's quite a bit of friction. Not a lot of friction, but I noticed that my blade started heating up regardless of how much water I ran. Here's my water system. This just runs off a siphon. This is just full of regular water. Oh my god, this rooster, he's over there in the weeds. Anyway, with his loud obnoxious ass. So what I did was I put a little needle valve in here, And I just started a siphon on this, and you know, with the valve on there you can shut it off, and when you turn it back on, the siphon will continue if you have your valve in the right spot. So that's the way this works. And now I just turned it on, so I don't need a pump and I don't need the hose coming out the bottom of the container. You know, I like that. Ugh. Boy, that was hard one-handed. But yeah, I just turned this on and I got constant water. Water's a good thing. You want water. You know, water will keep your blade cool and help lubricate the cut and help everything run smoother. Dude, really? Come on, man. These birds, they suck. But they're cute. They're definitely cute. Damn dinosaurs. Okay. This basically is an arm that slides back and forth. I have this little channel, and then I just clamp it. You can get a better look at it there. I have it positioned exactly how I want it, so I'm not gonna demonstrate how it slides, but just imagine it sliding in and out, basically. And I have a bolt through here, so I have a bolt on one side, and then I have a clamp on the back side for now. And I just undo this clamp, and I can move this up and down. You know, it swivels like this, and then I can aim my blade or adjust my blade and guide it, you know, if I need to be pointed down a little more or up. What I do is I get right on the ground and I kind of aim it, you know, I kind of sight it in and I make sure it's exactly straight, which is, you know, tricky, especially if your blade doesn't have a lot of kerf. Basically, if your teeth aren't angled that much. I forget what that's called, teeth angle or tooth pitch, but yeah, it's been working. One thing a few mistakes I've made is, see this? I would rather have inverted track, so I'd rather have this flipped over and see how the crap's getting in there, and then a roller that rolls over top of that. I forget exactly what that roller's called, but it's like an inverted roller and it rolls over angle iron. I'm gonna put a handle coming out in the middle, and then I'm gonna put some sheet metal over top of all this. So because I had a blade blow apart already. It was one that I brazed together myself, so I got almost through that oak log over there and then it blew apart. That was really scary. And it blew this, there was something else here previously and it blew that right to bits, and yeah, so that gave me a little PTSD, but all is better now. I'm not brazing my own blades anymore. What else did I not cover? Yeah, I've tried multiple different blades. Matter of fact, here's the one. Oh, here's the tractor that I'm loading the logs with. I picked up an $800 tractor. I had my DIY front loader, and that works too, but the steering's kind of tough now. Yeah, here's the one that I blew apart. This was carbide too. If that's the best advice I can give you, go expensive on your blade from the get-go. You know, your band. Don't buy the cheap ones. I guess you can, you know, you can pick up a $30 one just to test it out or see if your design actually works, but I wouldn't screw around with too many cheap blades. If you start getting serious and your saw works and your DIY sawmill's actually producing, I would just buy a carbide blade. You know, for a couple $100, what is that, 3 of the cheap blades? And you can easily, there's guys that go through 5 of the cheap blades in one day of milling. You know, so the carbides, you can mill up a few trees before they go dull. So that's a lot better. Oh yeah, I have big pieces of angle iron under my track system, and that keeps everything straight. This is 12 feet long, or about 12 feet. I got a 12-foot log on there, so it's a little over 12 feet. I think it's technically 14 feet, but I can do up to 12 feet long. Yeah, everything is pretty good so far. I've milled up quite a bit of lumber. Matter of fact, here's some of the slabs, you know, the waste from when I've been milling. I like to work a lot before I whip out the camera. I just wanted to make sure it was good. I just cut this board earlier today, and I have like a solar kiln going on over here. Oh, look at that pug dog. What's up, Beetlejuice? You want to be on TV? You want to be on TV? He's a handsome bird. Oh, there's Pablo. That's Pablo Escobar and Beetlejuice. They're my pug dogs. But yeah, here's the kiln. I got some cookies in there too, wood cookies. You know, here's a little piece of oak I cut last night. I ended up taking that off the mill because it was so hard to cut. And this was some pine that's been on the ground for multiple years. But I milled it up anyway because it was just going to waste. So you can see where it was starting to rot, you know. But it was a great piece to get started on. This whole tree actually, and there's still a good amount of wood in there too. So I got some pine slabs in there, you know. I've used a lot of the wood. I built this whole structure with the wood that I milled up on that. You know, this whole, I wish I would have did more pitch on the roof because water collects up there. So that's a big mistake I made, but you know, I'm trial and error type. Progress, not perfection. But yeah, the solar kiln work definitely helps to have the adjustment, you know, the minute adjustment with the bolts on either side, you know, the tracking. Also, rounded tires. You want a crowned tire like this bike tire so you don't lose the set or the bend in your teeth. Basically, your teeth on your blade are usually, you can't really see it, but they're at opposing angles. So you'll have one tooth angled up, one tooth angled down, one straight, kind of like that. If you have a flat wheel, you're going to bend them straight, and then, you know, you're going to ruin your blade and it's going to wander all over. You'll have to bend them back, each and every one individually. All right, I think that's it for now. Here's one more shot of it. I'm halfway through this board and my my belt is finally giving up on me. It's doing a weird thing. It's flipping over and disengaging completely as I'm in the middle of a cut now. So I probably got to put that new one on I got in the garage, but I already thought ahead and I ordered another one, a more decent one. Yeah, so I got to install that, which is going to be fun. But hopefully this was enlightening for you, and I hope you got some inspiration off my video. Thank you for tuning into the channel. I got some other videos too. They're all right, on various topics, other DIY things I've made. You know, give me a thumbs up if you do like this video or appreciate the content. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, post them in the comment section. I do my best to consistently check those, even years later, and get back to people and respond, you know, when they ask questions and whatnot. And if you need anything, let me know. Thanks for tuning in. I'm very grateful that some of you watch these videos. I'm humbled too. Have a good day.